So, as I've said, tonight's show is a lot of the people that have helped me keep going through Bawdy when it got tough. When sometimes it gets to be a lot to hold everybody's stories. And he makes it so much fun. He really is one of these people who can like pick you up and keep you going no matter how hard life gets. He's just like, what are we gonna do now? And he just makes you go, oh yeah, I forgot my job is fucking awesome. You know, sometimes you can forget. You're like, oh my God, another story about fisting. And he's like, do you realize what your job is? I'm like, oh, you're right. I'll shut the fuck up now. He rented this real estate. He is the founder of Sex Geek Summer Camp. You can find him at Read About Sex. He teaches all over the country. He's an amazing sex educator. And last night, he was the host of the Storgy. So let's find out what happened, shall we? Second half of the show, give it up for Reid Mihalko.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dixie de la Tour. Thank you.
Oh my God, are you gonna do that hippie thing?
Yeah. Bawdy has lasted longer than many people's marriages.
It's probably destroyed a few too. So.
Thank you. Everyone say thank you, Dixie. Make her cry. Everyone take a deep breath. And go, oh. Because, for those of you who are just meeting me tonight, for the rest of you who've already slept with me, I am a queer polyamorous slut. What am I? And so I hang out in like radical, pockets where cisgendered men, cisgendered white men aren't often welcome. And I'll come to an event and I'll be invited and somebody will be like, who brought him? And I'm like, and so over the years, like I've had to learn how to navigate these things because these realms where I am challenged and held accountable, that's part of my jam. Like I have a huge need to feel special. So if you're the only cisgendered guy, if you're the only biocock at the strap-on gangbang, that's an easy way to feel special. Everybody walks in and they're like, I know why he's here. Bend over, Reid. And I'm like, yes. Happy birthday to me. And so we've told stories about, my birthday parties are traditionally for me to ask for something that I feel like I cannot be loved for. My friends will leave me if I ask for this desire. And I have nerdy friends who show up and they're like, well, what are you ashamed of? Like, what do we get to do to you this year? And my friends get off on me like, fucking people and crying. And I'm like, oh, you guys can't love me. And they come and they whisper sweet things into my ears. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yes, just keep fucking people and crying. I'm like, okay. So the birthday party is for the shame experience. But then New Year's is for me to invite some of my closest people, some of my closest lovers, to meet my other lovers. Because I want to be kicking off the new year with fucking my friends and watching my friends fuck each other or make out or cuddle or whatever we end up doing, playing Scrabble or board games. I hang out with nerds. And so the New Year's Eve play party for me has become something very important to me because this is symbolic of how I am going to spend the rest of my year. Not that it has to be balls deep in somebody, but the idea of I get to ask for what I want. And I have friends who love me who are also there for similar reasons. We found the watering hole where my species are. and people fly in, and we have New Year's, and we spend a couple of days just hanging out and cooking and playing board games and having sex, and just kind of like a little like Utopia. So it's New Year's Eve. It's our big little event this year, and this was just this past New Year's Eve. And my friends make fun of me for often not inviting men to my events. Some of my straight guy friends are like, dude, what's up? Can I come? And I'm like, no. And they're like, why? I'm like, because they will eat you alive. You do not understand. These feminists, if they smell blood, you are a dead man. And they're like, okay. But this year was different. There was one man that I have like a bro crush on. And Allison, like when I bring men over, like when they come to hang out and we're just like hanging out, Allison's like, you must really like this guy, because you never do this. And there's like 5 guys that will come by the house regularly. And if you pass the Allison test, it's like the cisgendered guy version of the Bechdel test. Where like if Allison is like, you may pass. And I'm like, yay, he gets to live. So I'm doing my New Year's thing, and I'm like, there's this guy that I'm very fond of, and his name's Dave Bawdy. And what's his name? Dave Bawdy. And he's a musician. And I met him at another event that's defunct now, but it was called Tantrapalooza. And Dave, yeah, I know. And Dave is like this kind of, he's a self-help junkie, and he's just a righteous dude. And he's got his feminism pretty handled for like a dude, with a beard and a dude. And, and he has a podcast called like Dude Panel or something like that. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. But he plays fucking great songs. And he's like this, he's just this great musician. And I got this crush. And Allison's like, you have a crush on him? I'm like, yes, I do. It's a bro crush. And he's totally straight, and it's not about like me wanting to get in his pants, but like I want him around more. He makes me happy. So I invited him to New Year's. Yes. And Allison's like, really? And I'm like, I think he'll be able to do this. Like he'll live, he'll survive. And so he shows up, and he's got his guitar and stuff, and he's hanging out, and all the feminists are kind of like, because they're smelling for fear. And they're like, when do we eat him? And he's just Dave. And he's hanging. He's like a really like a super butch lesbian who's a dude. He's just chill, who plays music. And all the feminists are like, he may walk among us. Yes. And so now it's New Year's. And we're having the welcome circle, because I'm a nerd about welcome circles for play parties. And we do the mildest to wildest exercise that Kathy already told you about. And so we're going around, and it gets to Dave, and they're like, well, what's your mildest to wildest? And his mildest is like, I would just like to live. But he didn't say that, but it was kind of like that. Just some nice conversation and chilling, no pressure. And they're, interesting, he's not afraid of us. He may live. And then his wildest is like, I'd like to team up with Reid and do something sexual, like the two of us, like a team. And I just start giggling. And he's like, what? And I'm like, we haven't gotten to me yet, but I'm sure I will come up with something amazing. Right? And so, and these are a lot of my like queer, slutty friends who have their words. They know how to ask for what they want. They can change their mind in the middle of something. If something starts to feel off, they can find their words. And, they're not going to always throw down with everybody. But if they're a yes, they're up for almost whatever. It gets to me, and I'm like, you know what I want? I want for my wildest, Dave, I want you and I to be Eiffel towering somebody. And then like my friend Jet was like, shotgun. I'm like, thank you, Jet. Thank you for that. And they're like, I want to be Eiffel towering, and I'd like it to do it on the stroke of midnight. But I want you to be singing my favorite song. And Dave's like, okay, let me wrap my head around that. And so like the rest of the night we're like talking about what that would look like, and my favorite song is the song of his that's called Everybody Wants to Be Me. Which, if I could sing and if I could remember it, like, but it just makes you smile because he wrote it when he was trying to, like, he went through this phase of, this is now just a story about my buddy Dave, but he went through this phase of, like, he wanted to write songs just from the ego. Like, if somebody who was Kanye just snapped and just wrote a song that was, no, this is about me. And he wrote this really great song that is fucking hilarious that you just wish you could hear somebody sing, but no one would ever sing the song. And I'm like, Dave, I want you to sing that while we're tag teaming somebody, and I want you to sing it to me. And he's like, okay. So now we're having the play party, and you know, there's foursomes going on, and canoodling and cuddling and just good conversation. And now somebody's like, holy shit, it's like 2 minutes to midnight. And we're like, oh my God, like we have to like spring into action. So I'm like, Dave, what are we doing? And Jet's like, I'm ready. And we're like, it's too soon, hang on. And I'm like, Dave, what are you doing? He's like, well, I've got to play the song. So how about Jet? I'll face fuck you, Jet, because I don't know that I'll be able to get it up and sing at the same time while we're counting down. And I'm like, that's very smart. Good job, everyone. And so now we're in position. Everybody else now is like, and all of a sudden, like, it's like, okay, we got 1 minute. And I'm like, holy crap. So now, like, Jet's on her hands and knees, and she's ready. Angie, who's the fourth person in this situation, has yelled shotgun to be fingering Dave's ass while he's playing. And Dave's like, I don't know if I signed on to this. I'm like, dude, you knew this was a queer thing. Like, your ass is forfeit, my friend. And he's like, well, if it's for New Year's, okay. So now, like, and somebody's like, 20 seconds. And I'm like, holy shit, because I'm not even hard yet. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's kind of like, no matter how fast of a runner you are, like, let's say you're the greatest sprinter in the world, it's gonna take you some time to sprint a mile. And at my age, like, I'm almost 50 now, the mile just gets longer and further away from flaccid to I'm ready. And now we have 15 seconds. And Jet's already like nom 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 on Dave, and Dave's like, I just have to figure this out now because I've never played a song while being blown and watching my queer friend Reid try to stick a flaccid penis into a wet, warm hole. 5, 4, 3, and I'm like, come on! We're gonna spend the rest of the year like this. Help me out, my friend. 3, 2, and magically, my penis is like, I'll get half hard for you, Reid. I'm like, that's all I need. So there's the move if you're a sex geek. Maybe this will help you someday. If you get like half hard and so imagine if you just kind of blew a balloon half up and then squeezed a lot of it. The part that you're not squeezing gets more balloon pop. So this is like the choke and hold move. And you kind of grab the base of your cock, and then you squeeze, and then hopefully the rest of it gets hard enough for you to wiggle it in. And then once you get the cock in, then the penis is like, I'm fully awake now, because I know where I'm at, and I know what to do. And so now, like, I've got it hard enough, I'm fucking Jet. Jet just is in all of Jet's amazing glory with her pendulous breasts, rocking back and forth, blowing Dave. Dave started, 2, 1. Like, all that just happened in a second. And then it's like, happy Happy New Year! And he starts playing Auld Lang Syne. I didn't even know he knew Auld Lang Syne. But when they say old acquaintance be forgotten, we gave it a new meaning that time. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing, like it's happening. And then all of a sudden I start losing my erection for whatever, because there's a lot of stimulation going on, and there's a lot of coordination. And then it's also like this, the surprise of it's like the thing that you asked for is happening. And then like, so I'm starting to lose my erection. Now I'm starting to get in my head like, oh shit, like, because Jet wants to be pounded. I know how she likes to have sex. Angie's in the back being like, while she's like doing this. And Dave's like, old acquaintance be forgotten. I'm like, I've never heard his voice crack before. So I'm starting to lose my erection. I'm like, no, we can't like ruin this. But then like, there's this part of me that's like, we've already succeeded. That we even were able to ask for this. Dave and I are like eye-locked, and we are committed to this happening. And there's like this swell of bro love that's happening. And so like, my penis gets flaccid, I'm like, not a problem. Pull my hand back, lube it up, and I start finger banging Jet while he breaks into, everybody wants to be me. Which I will get his permission to, I got his permission to tell this story, but I'll post this song tomorrow on my Facebook page. But he starts singing the song that makes me so happy. And I'm finger banging my friend while she's blowing him, while he's somehow not hitting her head with the guitar. I don't know how that's happening. While he's getting his ass pounded by our friend Angie, and everybody else is all like sitting around just so happy. And I realize I'm like we did it. Like, this is how we start the new year. And all I want to say is, if that's not decadent, and it's the opposite of the decadent Allison talked about. It's the good kind of decadent. And that I have friends that when I texted them, and I said, hey, I want to tell this story, can I use your name? All of them were like, can you use my name? Like, of course you can. And I just wish friendship upon you all like that. Thank you.